Wicked Witches, welcome to the Venus dark moon. And I say Venus, it's because it's the Taurus dark moon, and Venus is the heart chakra, which is green, and this moon is the moment when Beltane happens, and Beltane is the most magical time of the year in many ways. Its opposite is Samhain, which is arguably they're both the most magical times of the year. Halloween and Beltane, one is death and one is life, and just this moment in time when everything is bursting into life. The bluebells are out, the birds are all partnered up and are hatching their chicks, and the lambs are out, and it's just abundant and loving and life-giving and beautiful in it. Such a magical time. And yeah, I've got the festival this weekend, which is mad. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna have a really good time next weekend. I'm party hard because I need it. And yeah, it's been an intense time. We've come out of April. We've survived April. Well done, everybody. Well done. So we've had astrological events happening since the start of the year, but really culminating in April, that are just so insane and are not going to happen again in our lifetime, and haven't happened in our lifetime. They haven't happened for like 150 years or 200 odd years. Like my brain's actually stopped being able to remember it all because there's so much, it's just so much that has happened. There's Venus's journey, there's the retrogrades that we've happened, the eclipse is changing. It's literally been like boom, 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 madness. We are, with this Taurus new moon, 100% stepping into a new reality. Beltane is the beginning of a new, and it's all to play for. So much has shifted in our realities, and who knows what's going to happen. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's key for us to be meeting everything with hope and with boundaries and with compassion and courage. So courage to meet the tendrils of whatever, things you want to stand up against and want to fight against and that you believe in, to meet them in the tendrils that exist in your reality that go all the way up to the bigger picture. So like the things that feel like aspects of Trump that are in your reality, or aspects of whatever it is that feels like it's the big picture, when you have those elements of it in your pixel and your reality, that you're able to meet it and fight it and have compassion and have hope and have integrity. That feels like the key word, to meet it with integrity. Listen, not just to react, not just to jump into to listen and take the time to really listen, because everyone's perspective is valid, and to really listen to all of the different sides of the story. Because the one thing I've learned in recent times being here on this island is that nothing's ever clear cut. You get told a story and you're like, oh, that's shocking, that's outrageous. And then you hear someone else's version of what's happened and you're like, all right, well, that changes things. And that's literally constant. That's constant. And it's only once you've really listened to all the things that you're able to go, and through all that noise, this I do not agree with and cannot be moved on, and a boundary needs to be set there with that, because that's not okay. And this and these people and this I can forgive. I can understand. They're doing their best. Don't agree, but blah blah blah, whatever. But there are things that you're like, no. And how you meet that, and just fight your corner. You might not win, but at least you've stood up to it, or have done whatever you can. And that's what's going on in my reality, and it's fine, and to not take it personally, and to just meet it with good grace and see it all as a game, and it's a game that your life depends on. You could die for real in this game. Your life depends on it, and it's absolutely important, but it's still a game. And just keep Bill Hicksing it. be at the front of the ride with your hands in the air going and just go for it, because you know we'll be dead soon, and this was an amazing experience that we got to have for a short period of time, and how lucky are we to be here. So it's all to play for, and in our pixel, if we can make a difference, the overall picture will change. So work on your pixel, work on what's right in front of you. Don't worry about the bigger picture and the noise. It's noise. If you change your pixel, it only takes 2-3% of us to change our pixels for the picture to change. So yeah, we do our bit. We change our pixels. We do the work in front of us. So I'm going to do a reading now to see what the universe is saying on this very pivotal moment. We are stepping out of what has been like a really intense chrysalis period. So we've had creation, hibernation of the winter, this storming and forming of the spring. And this is the height of spring, but it's also kind of the start of summer. You know, May goes into June. We're out now. We're coming out as our butterflies. We have May to kind of spread our wings and dry out, and then June we're off flying. But yeah, it's the start of it, and we've gone through a big process, and we're not what we were. So let's see how things go. So necessity. This has been coming up a lot for me recently. This is in the last full moon, we did runes that we're going to use as spirit paths to walk and create like kind of personal pilgrimages in our own vicinity, so that we can walk it in our lifetime forever and reflect on what our runes meant. And this was one of the runes that I pulled. And what this means is kind of what I was just saying, is that like it's all necessary. It might seem unnecessary, but it's all necessary. This rune I used to always see as like kind of a bleak rune. It was almost like begging. I always saw it as like, you know, I don't know, I suppose the lower frequency of necessity and what's necessary being kind of like a begging kind of thing, a begging bowl, and just being like a bit bleak. But really, there's an element of like, if I'm feeling overwhelmed and I pull this rune, then it means that it's time to only do what's necessary. Don't keep trying to do everything. Just do what really needs to be done, and everything else has to just be switched off. And there's that in my reality right now. I'm having to like not open certain email accounts and stuff because I haven't got the space and time for it between now and putting the festival on next weekend. So I need to just stick with what's necessary and do that, and everything else is kind of background noise. But I feel like in the bigger picture, and with what's going on with all that's just happened with these planets and everything shifting and everything that's going on, is that this is all necessary for change to happen, and change did need to happen. The world needed to shift. Reality needs a shift. We can't carry on in the way that we've been going, and so it's necessary. You know, it's not personal, it's not malicious. It was what was necessary for things to move on and to shift. So physically, we need to surrender. So this is the ice rune. And so in the physical world, and it's interesting because this is an earth moon, it's the Taurus moon. To surrender in this space is to surrender to whatever is happening physically in the actual world. So for me, in this next week, I've got the government motion of no confidence that's being done on one of the committees that I'm on. And we have that on Wednesday. And I'm just going to have to surrender to whatever happens with that. I will speak my piece. I've put myself out there on personal statements that are out in public, and I've done my thing. And we just have to see what happens, and to just surrender to whatever happens, and not kind of stress about it or push. Or I already feel a huge relief from just having said my bit, you know. Whatever will be. And it's the same with Beltane, with the festival. Whatever will be. I'm putting on a festival next weekend. I'm trying to cross all the T's and dot all the I's, but I might miss something. And, you know, you can't make an omelette without cracking eggs. Like, I might mess up. It's fine. I'm surrendering to the process, and I will do what I can, have as much integrity as I can with what I'm doing. But if I fuck up, I fuck up. You know, there'll be some elements of fuck up within the mix. Lagu, and this is in our communication. So this is about us speaking our spiritual truths, our inner world, our creativity, sharing how we feel. So with this, it's with everything that's happening that I've got coming up, is to speak from a place of the inner world, which is a place of love and compassion and connectedness. We're all oneness, infinite, the space of the infinite, the full. To be light-hearted with it, to be playful and curious and loving and compassionate and open and spiritual, basically. Like, how do you come from a place of spirit rather than the head, to come from the heart rather than the head? And that be from my communication, which I'm 100% up for. That's where I am going to be coming from, because there are much smarter people than me in the room, and I'm fine with that. It's what I'm bringing to the party is my connection and compassion and my intuition and my understanding. So that's the stuff I want to communicate. It's a harvest in action in our fire. So this is, yeah, again, it's like harvesting the rewards of what you've done and the efforts you've put in. So, you know, we've put in a lot. There's been a lot going on. We've done a lot of big work in this chunk of time that's been going on. So whatever that is, whatever we've been doing, we're going to harvest the rewards of that, and that's great for us stepping out into this new place. That whatever's been going on, we're going to have the booty of what we've been creating. And then courage, and this is in the inner world. So be strong, be courageous, be steadfast. So this is the horse. So just, I mean, yeah, just one foot in front of the other, face forward, and just go for it. And don't, it's not racing, it's one foot in front of the other. It's methodical, it's moving like a horse, but with the strength and the power of a horse, and just moving forwards. And that's in your spirituality, in your inner world. It's like, basically, I'd say kind of like regulating your nervous system, and to be, yeah, self-regulated and courageous and brave in your sort of methodicalness, you know. So tend to that space, do your meditation, do your morning practices, do yoga, do the things that calm you, going for a walk, whatever it is, to make sure you're putting those practices in place to support you with whatever's going on in the outer world. Because it's a lot, you know, it's a lot at the moment, and we need to make sure that we are self-regulating and taking care of ourselves, because these things always fall by the wayside. And so that's kind of a bit what's necessary with the one in the middle. It's like, that is necessary. Just like getting it done is necessary, looking after yourself in the process is also necessary. So that feels spot on and relevant. Knight of Swords. So this has been coming up a lot recently as well, and it feels like this is cutting through the bullshit. This is cutting through the fake news and the non-stop noise. So that feels absolutely spot on, and it feels like where I've been in what I posted today with my personal statement and stuff. It was like, I listened to all the noise, I listened to it, sat with it, and then I went, this is what I've got to say. And it cut through, because I didn't say anything beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of noise going on. And so rather than like being part of the noise and chucking my 2 pence in every 2 seconds, I waited, I bided my time, and then went and said what I had to say. And it had a sword fight type feel, and then that just jumped out, which is virtue. And that feels relevant as well, because the word that's kept coming up in the response that people have had to me is integrity, that you're someone who has integrity. And what does integrity mean? Integrity is doing what you say you're going to do to the best of your ability, admitting when you're wrong. You know, it's not having an agenda, basically, coming from a place of service and being of service rather than self-serving. And yeah, I really value integrity. Is like one of the most important things to me. And feeling virtuous. None of us are perfect. None of us are 100% virtuous. We fuck up all the time. I've fucked up and upset countless people. It happens all the time, especially since this new reality, like I was saying in the ceremony just now, that I feel like in 2020 moving here was like going up a level in the computer game. Like I leveled up, and in that I've got much bigger prizes and much bigger like treasure in like my partner, for example, is just incredible, and where I live's gorgeous, and I live on the island, which is stunning. I live in paradise with the love of my life that's just unbelievable, blows my mind, in a beautiful house that's the nicest place I've ever lived. So that's all like absolutely upgraded. I'm poorer than I've ever been in my life. Like this is the poorest I've ever been. I'm in the most complicated, never-ending mess that like it's just, you know, I've got so many things, like, because the community is so intense here that it just feels like a kaleidoscope of stuff happening all the time. And so it just feels like a much harder level. It's so much more complicated. The rewards are greater, but the mess is way greater and way more nuanced and complicated than it ever was before. So yeah, it's like fascinating and amazing, but you can't just be completely in integrity and virtuous the whole time, especially not, I can't. I think some people manage to navigate their way through life by generally being liked and being quite fun and playful, my partner being one of them, but I'm not one of those people, and that's fine. I make omelettes and crack eggs sometimes, and that's what happens, and not everybody's always happy with everything. I try my hardest, and that's the thing that's integrity and virtuous. You know, I do try my hardest, and if I fuck up, I will apologise. And that is, I've got here just pulled out failure. So failure is fucking vital, and it's not a bad thing. Because whatever happens with failure, you know, like if we don't get in on Wednesday, it's trusting it. It's trusting the process, and you don't learn anything or grow without it. And so, yeah, I was saying in the ceremony tonight that I interviewed Ray on Thursday at the Kooky Club, and she's awesome. She's a basket weaver, and she makes our wicker man at Beltane. And she was saying how she'd gone through a really like big journey of being in finance and working in finance in this really high-powered job, and then just completely like went kaput and just broke down. And off the back of that, then started weaving as a kind of thing to just do to kind of get herself moving again and get herself going again. Completely passionately fell in love with it. And then it just so happened that the house that they accidentally bought, it wasn't, it was an offer that they put in that they didn't expect that they would get. And then they said yes, and then suddenly they were buying this house thinking that it was more of a just let's put it to bed by making an offer that they'll never say yes to. And then they did. And it was like, oh, fuck, okay, so now we're moving into this house. So they never really meant to move there. It wasn't like we've got to have this house. It was more of a like, let's just put that to bed. And the house has willow growing in the garden, and because you can just plant willow by planting more sticks, she's filled her garden with willow and has her own willow to make baskets with that is just fully abundant in her garden. And her daughter's called Willow. And so it all just suddenly clicked into place. And she was saying, you know, I wish I'd listened to myself earlier and not gone through that whole process to end up in the situation I was in. And I was like, yeah, but at the same time, that's your journey, and then that's the medicine that you now have that you can share with other people of like, don't do this yourself, like stop before you break. But that's real, that's gold. Like someone in the ceremony tonight was talking about other people's shit is other people's gold. Like the shit that you've gone through is the gold that you then are able to share with other people. And this year is a 9 year, next year's a 10 year, and 10 is the year where the shit turns into gold. And 9 is the year of purification. So that's why I've been having a very purified year this year, and I've been like, which has helped with being able to cope with the shit show that's been going on. But also it's going to turn into gold now. Like this is what it is. And yeah, it's fucked up and it's hard and there's difficult things, but they're the things that make your gold. The good times, the non-failures, they kind of disappear into a blur, you know, like that's all very nice, but the things you share with your partner when you first get together with them, or the things that your story, or your achievements really are your failures. Your biggest, mine are my greatest achievements and my failures. To embrace it and not fear it. And yeah, I mean, like, whatever happens on Wednesday, I'm absolutely fine with it. Because I either beat the bastards and I have fought the evil that's right in front of me. And I'm not saying the individuals are evil. There is tendrils of evil within it, which feel Trumpian, that feel like fascism, that feel like smoke and mirrors and fake news and all of that. There are tendrils of that within it. But within the actual humans and the individuals, there are people there that I like, and there are things that I have compassion for and love for within them. But there are elements within what they're doing and how they're behaving that I'm like, absolutely no fucking way, mate. And so how to meet that and with that, rather than letting it take force and win. Oh, that one's jumped out. Let me get to it. Self-devotion. So this feels like the Lagu, the water rune that I've pulled in the communication. It's like, it's honouring your journey and honouring your process and trusting the butterfly-ness that's happening. Like I say, we've got a bit of time now to spread our wings and to feel into ourselves and to feel into the shape we're in. I feel really vulnerable. Like the ceremony that we just had felt like kind of one of my weaker ones, and it's not because there was anything wrong with it. I just, I'm quite fragmented. I feel very vulnerable. I feel like a butterfly that's just climbed out of a chrysalis. It's like, I feel battered and bruised, but I feel a huge relief from having spoke my piece today online and said what I've said, and, you know, deal with the consequences as they happen. But yeah, I feel quite vulnerable, but I also feel a huge relief. So I feel ready for whatever, and I feel ready for the festival. But literally yesterday, I felt like I was about to have a breakdown. Like, I don't now, which is good. I've come out the other side, but it's been intense, you know. These planetary shifts are massive, and give ourselves a break, and some love and compassion and self-devotion feels important. And transform is one of my favourite cards. Transform, the phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm wearing my peacock headdress tonight because I have peacock feathers on my chief police hat, which is the government hat that I have to wear in the government. And one of my dear friends here, this lovely old lady who I absolutely adore, came up to me and said, you know that's bad luck in Ireland. It's bad luck to have peacock feathers. And I went, yeah, but I'm a witch. And so I do wear my peacock feathers because I am the bad luck. No, I'm not bad luck, but, you know, I am the superstition, and I don't believe in them controlling you in that way. Like I use these to protect me from the evil eye. It's not inviting the evil eye in. I'm like, these are my protection from the evil eye, because I'm not scared of them. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll sit under a ladder. I also think that half the reason why these things happen is because of some kind of protective thing. Like obviously don't walk under a ladder is quite good advice. Don't walk over 3 drains is quite good advice. I once read a really interesting book that was about the evil eye, and it was about how there was a race of humans that were bird shamans who had blonde hair and blue eyes, but the blonde hairs were like blonde afros, so they looked like halos, and they had blue eyes, and they were very tall, and they were very advanced. They were an advanced race that lived in the mountains that were way more, like they had blacksmithery and metalwork and things like that, when everyone else was way more kind of Neanderthal era kind of thing. So that's why they sort of feared and had fear and awe of these like blue-eyed beings that existed in this mountain range. I think it was like in Iran or somewhere near there. And it was just an interesting theory of these people that had bird-like. So it was suggesting that that's where the angel archetype came from, because they were bird shamans. They had the angel wings and the blue eyes and the afro hair. And then there's loads of cultures in the area that have the evil eye thing with the blue eye to protect them from it, because people were like, they're a bit scary. Don't understand them. And it's, I don't know, like I feel like I'm one of those people here, in that I've brought my Brightonness and my alternativeness to an island where we're talking about it in the ceremony, that we live in the bubbles of our reality where we're all the same. We all think like that. So it's easy to think that everyone thinks the same way as you. And then I've moved somewhere where people really don't think the same way as me. And I'm a complete fucking freak. And until today, until I put the post on social media today, I think people didn't quite get where I was coming from, I guess. I don't know. And I think it's become clearer where my heart is and what I'm about. And it feels like I think that's why I feel so much lighter now, is that I feel like I've been seen and understood by people that I think were misunderstanding me, like the blue-eyed angel beings. I feel like people were like, oh, evil eye, to protect against me, like, what is she? I don't get it. And then because I've put my neck on the line and I've spoke my piece and I've said what I've had to say, people have gone, oh, okay, I get you now, I'm on side. And that's just felt like a massive weight off my shoulders, because I'm just like, guys, I've been here 2 years and I've just been really nice. Like, I'm a nice person. I can sometimes say, I'm not always nice, but like, I'm as nice as I can be. And I think overall that equals pretty nice compared to some of the people that are here and some of the stuff that's going on. In the general mix of things, I'm not an awful human being, and will always endeavour to be better. And I just feel like I've been seen and understood in a way that I wasn't before, and that feels like a huge relief. So transformation has occurred in quite a significant way, and it feels like a huge weight off. So let's see what the sorceress cards are saying. Talked about the serpent. In the 9-year, the serpent is the animal, and that's because we're in the year of the serpent, aren't we, with the Chinese mythology as well, and Chinese New Year. And the serpent sheds its skin. So again, that's a phoenix rising from the ashes, transformation element. Again, one has jumped out. And again, this one we've had as well recently, reclaim your center. So I'll read this out. I feel like this is relevant for the coming out butterfly-ness. So, come in, come down, reclaim your centre, your belly, your pelvic bowl, your womb space, the cauldron of creativity and possibility that holds the pythoness. Brilliant, because we literally were just talking about serpents in the ceremony. Coiled in your pelvic bowl, she's a primordial creative force, a power source that's generating the whole bloody planet and is held in your centre, your knowing, your voice, your ability to see what you speak and then to create it, your power and your remembered magic. When you reclaim your centre, you remember, reconnect with and revere your power and presence, and you're rooted, you're sourced, you're a force of your own motherfucking true loving nature. And that is a fact. So whatever this new butterfly shape is, whatever this new reality is, connect to that central core and that truth that's inside of you, because that's key. To remember that doesn't change. That's the spark of light that is the Aries energy, which a lot of the planets are in at the moment. There's a lot of Aries going on. Aries energy is that spark that created you. It's the beginning of the wheel of the year, the zodiac, and it's when the sperm hit the egg and it popped it, a little spark was created, and that's your soul and that's your being, and then that then grows into the baby that you are and the human that you are. And our job as a being is to like look after and nurture that spark and look like, care for it. And the Hermit card has got that spark in a lantern, and he's going off and just spending a bit of time with it to like reconnect. And yes, that I feel like is the connecting to source, is remembering that spark, and that's your core, that's who you are. And last of all, soul, responsibility. And soul is the card of the sun returning, which is absolutely what Beltane is all about. So let's read what we've got to say with that. And responsibility feels key. Sol, the Norse personification of the sun, rides her golden chariot across the sky each day to bring forth daylight from atop the heavens. She is the eternal bright bride of the sky, mentioned throughout both the poetic and prose Eddas. Her 2 horses, Early Riser and Swift, lead the way and are followed every night by her brother Mani, personification of the moon. Skol and Hati, the offspring of the great wolf Fenrir, chase Sol and Mani relentlessly in the hopes of eventually devouring them. While Norse mythology does not consider a solar deity to be a focal point, Sol is held in such high regard that she became the origin for the word Sundagar or Sunday. Sol shines brightly through the clouds to inspire you with responsibility. And next weekend for Beltane, it's going to be fucking sunny and hot. All this week, it's Sol's out with force. Knowing that you're responsible for your reality might feel like a burden at times, but in the end it is the greatest gift one could hope to receive. Without some form of structure within our lives, we could lose our way along the path towards balance, looking for comfort to energies that seek to cause harm. Just as Sol takes charge of each day by lighting up the sky, you must take responsibility for yourself and your own well-being. When we stop looking to blame others, we glow with self-empowerment and cast out the shadows of negativity. Boom, that's exactly what's going on. That couldn't be more apt. Bloody great. We are totally responsible for our reality, and to own that and to own how we look after ourselves, how we take care of those around us. Bloody hell, it's a lot going on, but well done everybody, and let's have a freaking great weekend. Mwah. Huge love, and I'll see you in on.